Hi there.
Hi.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it seems that YouTube is already live. Seems that we've finally figured it out. Guys, if you already see us, nice to meet everyone. And we did it. We know how the YouTube magic finally works. Woohoo. Andrea, do you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I hear you, but I can't see the stream on the YouTube.
It's still launching. It must be already.
Ah,
Okay, it seems that. Okay, just. Okay, I got it. I'll just make it public. All right, and I just need to, to edit the description just to choose the right months and fortunately the right year. Okay, so could you please check the stream on YouTube and on Twitch that it works well?
on YouTube it works well, and on Twitch, yeah, it works.
Nice. Okay, I'll just switch on the sound of the game. Just please check that you do hear it well.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, guys, just let me fix one small issue and we'll be just starting our stream in a matter of minutes. Daria, could you just give a short intro of what we're gonna do today? What is our current plan for the stream? Of course, taking account that questions would be the top priority.
Yeah, so it's nice to see you guys today. It's our first stream of the year, and as always, we are now in our Discord voice chat. So feel free to join us and talk with us in real life. Today, our stream will be dedicated to our map. We want to show you our districts and tell everything about them. And also, today Anton will be play himself, so it wouldn't be a recorded video on the background as always. And also leave your questions in comments. We're always glad to answer your questions. And don't forget about Discord.
Cool. Guys, just fixing one thing, and the video of mine would be soon available. Also, please check the quality of stream because we managed to somehow make a small update of our stream equipment, and now it must be far better working, honestly speaking. So the quality of image must be better.
Yeah,
Okay,
it looks better.
that's nice. That's really nice. Okay. One guys, sorry, one more second. All right. Okay. So guys, as Daria just said, it's our first stream in the new year, so please feel free to connect, to talk, to ask questions in the comments. So do whatever activity you like, because as mentioned before, we are making the stream to communicate with you. It's not just us talking, it must be us answering the questions which you are interested in and which are important for us, for you. So today we want to have the stream which we planned actually for the previous months, but had to reschedule it for today. I mean, of course, we had the stream in December, but we couldn't have it in the format which we wanted. So, really speaking, our idea was to have a kind of walkthrough, an excursion around the haunted city. So, with us actually playing the game. And due to the problem with some computer equipment which we had, we didn't manage to make it work. And that's why we had to use, as usual, the background video. And today we'll be really moving around the haunted city and telling you some information about its landmarks and just what we are planning to do with that in the nearest future. So the first district would be the central one. Actually, the organization of the districts and the city generally is quite simple. It's the middle one and 4 districts by the corners of the city, which somehow resembles the square or some kind of figure like that. If you manage to read our article, if I'm not mistaken, for November, it was about the story of the city and the districts, so please feel free to check it out in Steam or in any other social media which is comfortable for you. Just check the list of media on our website, beasttower.com. Well, the central district is a kind of a place for merchants, for working people, and for everyone who just want to find somebody to communicate and to meet others and to do some business. Well, this is a quite a typical situation for any medieval city or the city of the new time at the beginning of the 20th century, when of course people didn't have social media, a part of newspapers, and maybe some meetings in personal. That's why it was a kind of very important place in every town and every big, even village. Okay, so here we can find the execution place, quite a horrifying thing. Statues of different goddesses, which inhabitants of the haunted city used to worship. And of course, one of the main landmarks of the area is the statue of the hunter with dogs. This is a kind of an important character of the game's lore. You can find more if you look carefully through our posts in whatever social media you like. Well, this is a kind of a...
I'm sorry for interrupting, but we again have a mistake on the YouTube. Our description is on Russian language.
Well, I seemed that I updated this mistake. Thanks for telling me, guys. Sorry. Okay, but how it's possible, honestly speaking? Okay, I'll just fix it out. Okay, you're right. Whoa. I got it. I fixed the, the title, but I didn't fix the description. Thanks for telling me. Sorry, guys. Sometimes things happen like that, especially when you run a multi-language community with people around the world.
And also, your camera is still off.
Camera is still off. Whoa. Okay. Just give a second, and both cameras must be working properly. You see, guys, it's very cool to have an attentive host launching stream with you. So thank you for telling me all these things. Okay, could you please check if the description and the cameras are updated on YouTube or just everywhere?
Camera, yes. And yeah, now the description is all right.
Okay, that's cool. Let's move on. Okay, so just as we are just having the stream and running it together, Darian, could you tell what part of the central district do you like most and why?
Be the library.
I mean,
The,
a library is a kind of a part of a Haven temple, honestly, but I mean something just in the middle of the
on
city.
the ground.
Yeah, something on the ground, maybe on the roof level.
I think is the center itself. I like this statue with dogs.
And do you know how actually this statue appeared in the game? Do you know the story?
I suppose I've heard it, but I couldn't say that I remembered it very well.
So that's quite an interesting story and quite encouraging one. You know, guys, Beast Tower is mostly and well, in fact, is totally an indie project, and we always somehow amazed how people respond to what we are doing, and people who offer their help, offer their advice. And once we were working on the decoration of the city, and we had this idea in mind that we should have a kind of very distinctive statue as a landmark of each of the districts. So at some point we were browsing through different stores where we could find inspiration or find some suitable thing to buy and then rework for our taste. And we came across this statue. Well, actually, the most attentive people have noticed that is a true statue which exists in one of the German castles. And a dude did a very marvelous job of using, photos of 360 photos of this statue and actually turning it into 3D. So I'm not sure if he used some kind of existing tool or it was one of his own know-hows. But actually it's really a very precise copy of the existing statue. So we decided that we should like it very much, contacting the author and asked, well, if it's okay to use, so if we buy this model, if we could use it in our project, and he will be okay with that, and there would be no problems with intellectual property and things like that. And the person, and also we attached a link to our game, so the person understands that it's a real game that we're actually developing, and it's just we are the dev team. And soon we get the response, and the author told us that he liked the project so much that he wants to gift us the statue, the model, free of charge, and gives us all the rights to use it whenever like. And it was just so touching and so cool, and that's how the statue actually appeared in the haunted city and in the game in general. So
Oh,
that's the story.
yeah, developers of Death by Misstep said that our game looks fun and wished good luck.
Okay, thank you, man. So don't bother to get to our Discord and join us in the open chat. So it's a kind of our format of communicating with the audience that people can freely connect. Well, honestly speaking, most of the time people get shy and don't do it, but believe us, we are completely fine with that. So please feel okay to join the chat and ask your questions there, or just if it's more comfortable for you, write some comments. We'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay, so now I believe we should move to the next district, and here we would change, our guide. Let it be Yudoku, because this is her our main power is to use poisonous gas, which is kind connected with vegetation and the green district which we are currently in. Its guardian is the Daria, could you remind me how this thing is called in Latin, or just a medical term of this symbol of the snakes around the cup?
I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Hydria.
Yeah, a bowl of Hegea or something like
I
that.
see.
Yeah, so that's the idea that the green district, snakes, vegetation, and all things like that were true inspiration of ours. And one most important thing, that it's the place where the arcana, this crazy substance on which the whole law is built, was mined. So you can find a special mine where the resource was extracted to the top. Yes, and so here you can find the stored wood, stored barrels ready for transportation, a lot of railways and all the equipment for moving the goods and resources around them. Because the whole city was planned as a one big place for living and for arcana production, honestly speaking. Okay. One important, very interesting part of the Green District is its underground catacombs. Actually, it's a crypt of some kings of the past or some noblemen. It can be found near the square with a praying monk here, and there is this hidden path which you can go in order to get into the underground. Sometimes it's get covered by an old wall which you can cross by just rolling below. And here you can find all these crypts and graves and tombs of those of the times past. Okay, for the sake of just easy up, we'll just destroy this wall. Yes, raiders can also destroy this wall if they wish, and there you can find just another special grave place, which actually might neglect. And here is the passage which leads to other parts of the tombs, which actually not available for the player to go, at least now. So from here you can get into both central district and into other parts of the city. Well, for example, if we go this way of this underground, you can find yourself near the statue of the hunter, which we just talked a couple of minutes ago. Okay, then another big part of the central district, well, another kind of a small, but a very important part of the location, it's the temple. Once the place for praying strange gods and a place for scholars where they study different books and materials. Now it's just crashed and lays in ruins, although you can find some particular things like this table where some experiments and some maps are located, which could show you some important information about the game's lore if you're attentive enough. Well, and also you can climb to the very top of this temple, but using parkour only and devices which you might spawn here, but it's not that time, that's why we should use only parkour. So raiders can climb like using tic-tac between walls which are not only parallel but which are located to 90 degrees to one another. And now we just get to the very highest point on the whole map, so you can view the city from the top. Okay, so if we already been to the central district and to the green one, let's move to the most horrifying and weird place in the whole haunted city. It's the burning district, or as we sometimes call it, the ever-burning district. It's full of flames, it's full of burning ground, and there you can never find something to be burned down to ashes, but the flame still never stops. So it's a kind of ununderstandable anomaly, which just is one of the mysteries of the haunted city, which at some point the players may understand why they are working like that. Alright, so Daria, and I, as you've told me just on our previous talk that the Green District is one of your most favorite places in the whole haunted city. So,
Yeah.
or just in a few words, describe why it's so and what exactly places here do you like most?
Mostly I like that big flower and the windmill, and also uh, that not a music, that sound
Of the
of the
mill.
windmill. Yes, because it's really horrifying when you are alone there.
Okay, I believe the sound also works as we can listen to that. This one, right?
Yes, yes,
It's quite creepy, honestly speaking.
yes.
Okay, and also the Green District, where they can find a great plant, maybe some kind of a flower or tree, which grows through the whole building. So here it is. You can climb higher, and to find out that there is, on the top of the building, there is a huge, somehow living, breathing flower. Okay, let's just move to some distance to have a better view of that. Here it is. Here it is now. And you can see in the far there is the conglomeration of mounting, which is covered with different, devices for mining, because the whole mounting is a huge place for getting arcana. Okay, let's just for the second return to the ever-burning district. Okay, just moving on the rooftops for a bit. Okay, so one of the landmarks, sorry guys, is Guardian, as usual. It's a statue with the altar for beasts, and it's the very famous creature from a very famous pantheon of mystic ones. So just drop in the comment the name of this creature. I believe you know whom I'm talking about. And another thing, which is currently only at the blocking stage, but as we want to share with you our plans, it's the huge zipline, which just flies above the burning district. So you can actually climb there and also use all these balloons to jump around and to find your spot where you can hide or maybe get another upper hand. Yeah, let's level up a bit. Always remember that gathering orbs, or as we call them, shards, which come from the broken crystals, is very important because it gives you quite experience. Because just exploring the crystal doesn't give you even half of that experience which you might need in order to level up.
Question in comments if we have Easter eggs in the game.
Sorry, if we would have
Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Well, there are some Easter eggs already in the game, and we have tons of ideas what we can add as new ones. Because you see, Easter eggs are kind of a respect to the community. So for those who find them, the people show that they really like what we're doing, because they so attentive to the details. That's why it's always happy when we are always happy when our players find Easter eggs, because that means that they really like our game. So just keep an eye on the map and you'll find ones. There are there. Not many, but they are there. Some of them are quite, straightforward. Others are things which, well, you see, the developers anyway tend to put into the game things which they are emotionally connected to. That's why some Easter eggs maybe not just be understandable for the many people because they're quite niche, but still you can understand what's going on if you just know a thing or two about some fields of interest of the devs. I once remember a very funny Easter egg, which was done even not a game, but in one commercial project. It was a story when I was taking a flight, and my neighbor in the plane was a professional developer, commercial developer. And he told me a funny story about one project where when the system would quit during the development, so due to some mistake, it would give some strange for digit code, and nobody could understand what it meant. And then it turned out that the previous developer who was working on this project before other guys, he was a big fan of just greatest music composer, Bach, just classic author, just. And he was so big fan of him that he used as a code for the mistake for some drastical quick the date of Bach's death, because for him it was just a very sad number, and that's why he used it in order to mark the mistake. But nobody from the team knew it. That's why people were confused what happens, what this code means. And fortunately, they managed to contact this guy, and he told them, yeah, that's really a problem with something you have in the code. Okay, just from the Burning district, we moved quickly, while I was talking about this funny story, to the industrial district, which is a place with a lot of factories, plants, gears, all types of mechanism, and all the crazy things we usually associate steampunk with. And here we come to the Guardian. The Guardian is a silent and cool gargoyle, and this is really powerful creature which actually guards what's happening in this area. During your journey through this part of the city, you can find things like the underground laboratory, where some crazy experiments took place, and if you look careful enough, you can find a lot of interesting Easter eggs and make your own mind about what's happening with the city and what's up with its inhabitants and what happened generally and why it looks like as it looks. Alright, and now we are moving to the final part of our journey. It's the so-called Spider District. It used to be the pearl of the haunted city. It was the place where noblemen used to live. It's the most beautiful, the most accommodated part of the city, with a lot of cafes, expensive houses and things like that. But at some point, this area got covered by spiders, giant creatures which put their web everywhere, and their, queen, Spider Queen, actually crashed through the city, but was killed by the protectors of the realm. And here you still can find it dried corpse. And now, I would say that we should go on the another level of city, which is actually underground. So the whole city below has a series of tunnels which connect all the areas together. So generally speaking, you can get into any area both by ground level, by roof level, and through the city of the undergrounds, one of which is the Spider Cave, covered with corpses of unlucky travelers and adventurers that get caught by these creatures. And you can find even some strange bones of some huge things, which, well, you should guess who was it and why it's there. Here we get into the catacombs, which lead you to the square of the central district, to the place which you already seen, you know, the statue of the hunter. And then you can quickly move into the other area in the middle of the mentioned central district. And here you can go in two directions. Either you can go left, and there you'll get into the burning district, or you can get right to get into one of the most curious parts of the underground, which is the abandoned library. So this is a secret place where the most important books, tomes, and scrolls were gathered, with a dragon globe and a lot of other cool stuff which you can find here. And there you can already get into the industrial district hidden laboratory, which we visited just some time ago. Okay, Daria, and you see, as it's me talking just quite much for now, maybe you can, you know, tell some interesting, funny stories which happened with you in each of the districts when you were playing Beast Tower, because you've been participating in the playtest for quite a time already, and I believe that there are tons of things which happened to you.
I can say that the most interesting things happened mostly when you took the rift, or or in the end of the game when you are trying to find all keys and escape, because mostly I prefer to escape than
Me too.
than to be the last player.
Well, yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, you're quite good at escaping. And have you ever won by the, you know, becoming the last one standing?
Maybe it was maybe a long time ago.
Well,
Because
honestly,
I'm not really trying to be the last, but if I don't have a chance to escape, so yeah, I'm trying to be the last.
yeah. Well, you see, I have quite the same approach, because when playing especially as a raider, I just managed to win the game very little times. Well, just very few times. While playing as Beast, maybe it just took me a bit more often. But usually, well, at least I can say that I just improved during the last half a year, and at least I managed to live to the very end and to fight to the end by the very final, you know, stage of the Arcana Storm, which moves around the city by the end of the match. So, well, it's a kind of bit, you know, sometimes frustrating to lose in the final fight, but still, you know, it's big fun, because you see that you manage to get so far, and each time you get a bit far, that means that at some point you might win.
And it's also worth mentioned that it's not that easy to find all 6 keys.
No, you usually
Because
die before you do it.
yeah, because other players also want them. And if talk about beasts, they can just wait you near it, because they know that raiders want to grab keys.
Yeah, because keys are shown by the lightings hitting from the sky into the ground, and just watching up, you can understand at what parts of the city most raiders are likely to be found, and just you can ambush them directly at these points. I've been attacked as raider so many times at the keys, and myself playing as a beast, I made so many, I waited so much there, that we also once discussed, if you remember, a kind of maybe a mechanic which we should use, that beasts somehow must, uh, interact with the keys too, because they spend there quite a time. Usually it pays off. And speaking about your experience with playing beasts, what beasts of, I mean, we have two of them currently, werewolf and a vampire. Which one do you like most and why?
I prefer vampire. I don't know why, but when I'm playing werewolf, I don't feel that maybe that freedom that vampire has, because it can fly and it's easy to run away from the fight if you are losing or something got wrong.
Well, I can't say that there is any personal favorite of mine, because you know both beasts has their own strengths and weaknesses. For example, some people might say when they first see the vampire that vampire is overpowered because it can fly, but guys, honestly speaking, it doesn't fly, it glides. So you can't get up, you always go down a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit, a bit. So you see, and werewolf has a very strong ability of sprint. So if a werewolf runs for several seconds straight, it goes at its fours and starts running really, really fast, using all its four legs. And it really matters when you are chasing things, because navigating the flight is a bit harder than running. And also werewolves have, you know, this large jump which knocks players just on the ground, and they have this attack which allows them to slam the ground. Vampire has a kind of, you know, gust, a mechanics which with a powerful flip of wings, it makes a strong wind which knocks enemies away. Well, but still, beast, well, werewolf seems to have a bit different mechanics, and it's just, well, because, you know, when I'm playing as a vampire, it's a kind of a slow hunt that you glide over the city looking for prey, then dashing and starting killing it in one go. One werewolf is more sustainable in terms of chasing, so it chase and chase until it just loses its prey, gets killed, or just manages to feast on the corpse of his enemy, his prey.
I just remember one funny story when I was gliding for the vampire, and a werewolf just rushed at me from the rooftops, and I was that scared. I didn't I didn't expect that.
Yeah, and especially we made a special animation, quite funny one. When you fly as a vampire, well, I just use a small short cheat code and get hit in the air, you just fall down like that. We even think about maybe adding some funny sound like yeah. Okay, that seems that we looked through the whole haunted city currently. So maybe I missed some place which you would like me to show the guys, and you would just tell something about that. What do you say?
Not sure. I suppose we already shown everything.
Okay, guys. The most attentive of yours might have noticed that there are some gray box areas and assets on the map. Well, that's because we are still working on some parts, but we want to share with you the results and thoughts, so it's okay that it's there. Well, it's generally speaking the most common pipeline of developing the maps and the architecture, the levels in the game. First of all, you make all these gray boxes. Then, after you are fine with the form, with the positioning, you just send them to be modeled properly and turned into the final asset, which actually makes the final look of the level. So don't worry about that. That's not to be in the final game. That's exactly the draft which we are working on right now. Okay, so Tere, what I suggest doing? Could you remember some most recent questions which we were, asked in our social media? Because I believe it would be interesting for guys to get answers to that. And if somebody who wrote these questions is watching us right now, we will be just giving answers straight away. What do you remember about the most recent questions?
The most popular question is about a playtest, and the recent question is about if the game will be free to play or pay to play.
Okay, guys, that's the questions which we answer almost every stream, and it's okay for you to ask them because some people come for the first time. Somebody just didn't attend the stream when we were discussing this thing, and still these are quite crucial questions which any attentive player and the ones who cares will be answering. So let's start with the playtest. So guys, as you know, we never give dates before everything is ready, and we 100% sure that it would work like that, because we believe that it's not very polite to give some dates and then change them several times. So we don't want to sound like Cyberpunk, although we're big fans of Cyberpunk and it's a very cool and interesting game from our point of view, but still we don't want to make people wait and then to tell them, okay, please wait 2, 3, 4 weeks more, and because that's not really polite. So what I would say that currently all the features and elements in the game which we want to put on the playtest are pretty ready. We are fixing bugs, we are polishing stuff, and our most important task which we are working on right now is a new netcoding, so that you can play without no problem, you can easily find matches and just feel yourself okay. The previous netcoding which we used was also nice and it worked pretty well, but it didn't let us to have our playtest run smoothly, because sometimes the server won't connect, something could be breaking, and so on and so after. So now we want to have the netcoding solution which would be free from these problems and would give you the best possible user experience. The second question would be about the monetization model of the game. So guys, we are getting closer to working on the between game progression system. We are thinking about how the game should be monetized. So there are two options. Either it's premium, so for some entrance ticket you get the game and can play it whenever you like, or it goes free to play when we rely heavily on different cosmetics and updates which appear in the game from time to time. So both variants has both as pluses and drawbacks. So now we would say that at the current stage the game can be monetized in both ways. I mean, theoretically. And as we are working on the progression between matches, we are thinking about more and more and more. Well, and of course we would be happy if you would share your opinion if it's going to be free to play or not, because that's what actually matters for us. We want to know what's your tastes, and we of course would need to take up the decision taking account the situation with the game, how it plays better, what amount of content can we produce and things like that. But still, if you would tell us your opinion, it would help us to gather the data and it would let us to take the decision easier. So please feel free, write in the comments which type of monetization is most suitable for you and why. All right, and talking about raiders, what raider is your favorite one for moving around the city and why? Daria.
To move around the city, I suppose both of them, because I like to use the jumping ability, and either Zealous or Yudoku have uh, a pretty good jumping ability, and it's very useful personally when the game starts, the match starts. Uh, it's the first ability that I want to level up because it makes moving around the city much easier.
So if I get you right, when you're playing as Dallas, you upgrade Blink in the first go.
Yeah. Yes.
You see, I would say that at the beginning, I would always level up this ability in the first place because I would always think that it really helps me to escape better, to get to some hard places better. But just recently, I noticed that a lot of guys in our team, and me too, started leveling it up far later, or not even leveling up at all, because if you want to fight, so your shooting skills and your shield skills abilities are far more efficient because of course mobility is a king, but if you get more damage and more HP it would let you to play more aggressively, but still it depends on how the game goes. Sometimes you start building one abilities and after that you switch to others because they just well, more profitable for this given game, where you may not be as cool as you thought, or maybe your opponents are doing not as good as you expected them to do, or doing far better than you expected. So, yeah, it just proves out that our concept of all the builds being at least, profitable actually plays, and I like it very much. Alright, so guys, it's about less than 15 minutes left from the stream, so please drop your questions if you want us to answer them, or you still have the opportunity to join our Discord open voice chat, so you can talk with us just straight away. Okay, Daria, could you please just look for some topics which we might be wanted to touch in the given stream, well, which we're running right now, except for the, guide through the city? Or maybe there is something you want us to tell people about which we've missed.
Maybe we should mention our lore that we sent through the mailing.
Oh yeah, guys, those who are subscribed to our newsletters, or just those who follow us on social media and just check our every given post, might have noticed that we've sent the special story, the written diary of Howard Small, who is a kind of a small person living in this cruel world. He is not a super soldier, he is not the were creature or anything like that, just a common dude living in this world, trying to provide for himself and to solve some problems of his youth, who is eventually get into the whirlwind of events which just make him horrified and force him to take up very uneasy decisions. Honestly speaking, I remember us working on this story. It took us quite a time to finish it, and it was a very big work from the team. So we would really appreciate if you look through it, if you read it, and give your feedback and tell whenever you like it or not, so we can more stories like that. Because although Beast Tower is a PvP game where, of course, the gameplay is the main thing that matters. We really love the world, the characters, and the story so much that we started making a solid lore which describes what's going on in this game and why actually everyone is here and what are their motivations and the backstory. So the characters, the places feel not like decorations and some kind of a chess figures which has no personality, but somehow as living beings with some ideas and some wishes and some plans for their life. Daria, and as I remember, you of course read the story of Bover Small yourself.
Yes, of course.
So I know that you read it several times, and I don't want to give away any spoilers, so the guys could read it and just enjoy the whole storyline. But when you read it for the first time, what were your impressions and thoughts? What emotions did it raise in you?
I can say that this story is really worth to read, and my first impression was I wanted to know more about this person and about other persons who he was looking for. So yeah, I really wanted to know what will be next.
And what do you think about the story itself? Does it, do you find it sad, or if you find it somehow with some moral in there, or what's actually you think is a kind of conclusion which one can make after reading that narration?
It's a bit sad, yes, and I would say that the Indian leave some open questions for you, and you can only guess what happened next, and yeah.
So, and what would you like to learn the pre-story, what was before all the events described in this diary, or you want to know what happened next, what's most interest of yours and why?
I'd like to know what happened next. Don't want to spoiler it, but for me that really left some questions, and I was just, whoa, oh, why? What's next?
Yeah.
So I'm really curious about the next story.
I just can talk for myself because there were several dudes working on the text and the storyline that, honestly speaking, I just don't know what would happen next. Because, of course, there are some hints in the text and the illustrations what the character would finally do with his life and with the situation which happened to him. But still, I won't say that I know exactly and be sure myself what would be his next step and decision, honestly. And that's why I believe the story is to be nice, because it gives you such an open ending that you have tons of arguments. Well, maybe not, but some more, some less for different variants of the behavior of the character. But still, you can't say for sure that, yeah, everything would be end like that. Or no, it would never end like this. It just depends on your own personality, your own feeling, and your own, somehow understanding and feeling towards the character. Because on the one hand, I don't want to spoil anything, that's why I will try to be as general as possible. You would say that Howard is a bad man who made a lot of mistakes and didn't have courage by the very end to at least try to fix them. It's one view which we can have of him. And another thing would be just, you can feel pity towards him, because he's quite miserable by the very end, and you understand that he was just thrown into such events which nobody would like to be thrown in, both in terms of personal, relationships, which is quite, life situation which people may get in, and both as some really, really tough circumstances which he had to get through. And that's why you just can be only, feel pity towards him, and you can never be, cruel and saying that, no, man, you had to be really tougher, you had to be more courageous, and things like that, because you would never know how would you behave in a tough situation like that. As you know, I remember this famous quote that don't judge not to be judged. That's some kind of my feeling towards the ending and towards the whole situation which happened with the characters generally. Because what I really like about our lore, at least what we always try to emphasize, is that there is nothing black and white in this world. Okay, there are some things which are really scaring and are really cruel, and you can never somehow say that, okay, that's okay because of this and that, but still there are so many gray things which would never let you just understand what's the most right way of behavior and right, thinking. Well, to some extent, I like it that it turns out to be something similar to what we have in World of Warcraft. Sorry for this comparison, but it just... of course, World of Warcraft story is full of cliches and some high fantasy things, which not everyone likes. But still, if you compare the Alliance and the Horde, well, both of them have some, motivation. Some, I would say, truth why they're fighting one another, why they're competing with one another, or why sometimes they together unite their powers to overcome the greater evil. Somehow same situation happens with Beast Tower, because if you read through the ideology of the Order and ideologies of the cult, me personally, it's a very tough decision, because they both are quite radical, and still they have some, quite big logic behind. And that's what makes me scaring. I believe you've seen the Avengers movie, Marvel Avengers, where Thanos was finally getting the glove and, make this click to destroy half of the humanity, right?
Yeah.
You see, I went to this movie with a friend of mine, and we are big fans of Marvel, both. That's why we're just making whoa all the movie. But by the very end, when everyone was just leaving the hall, even after the, everyone waited for the final, scene, which is usually shown after the credits.
Yeah.
And my friend was still standing and just staring into space. And I asked him, dude, what's up? Why you're not collecting things while leaving home? And he said, man, I just got one thing which just made me tremble. I said, what happened? Are you okay? He said only one thing, I remember. He's right. Okay, and by the very time when we were going out of the cinema hall, he just was silent, and finally I managed to talk to him, and he said, you see, man, sorry for that, but I really, really got this idea that to some extent this crazy Titan, meaning Thanos, is right. Because, the arguments which he puts for his just unhuman logic and behavior, somehow you can understand them. And that's what makes things really scary. And that's the thing which, from my point of view, make even bad and evil characters and protagonists great ones, because when they are not just stupid, crazy beings that want to destroy because for the sake of destruction, but when they have a solid logic behind it, That's what's really scaring. Because if we take up the human history, the most cruelest dictators and different maniacs and killers and very cruel and scary people, usually they were quite logical in their behavior. They had understandable reasons, which for some weird psychology could actually work. And that's what we also want to put into the Beast Hour lore, so it actually, make you think and make you decide and make you to go through some uneasy choices, like in the case of Howard. Okay, guys, so this hour of our stream coming to end. Daria, could you check please if we have any questions which we didn't answer?
No, we answered them all.
So guys, I would really like to to congratulate of the holidays, which are over already, and the beginning of the new year brings us new work, new updates, new playtest. So please stay tuned, like our post, share them, write comments, subscribe to our social media, don't miss anything, keep an eye of our posts, join our coming playtests, and as we always say, the beast will come. See you soon. Bye bye.